Hello, friends. Good afternoon. I'm happy to be live with you all for a very important topic today, the NID Preparation Revision Series. Friends, I'm going to be with you all for next 3 days. That means today is first and next 3 days. That means altogether, this is going to be a 4 days NID revision series. Well, friends, my name is Rajendra Bhatia. I've been into NID preparation for last so many years. There's nothing like telling you that I've been doing it for last more than 2 decades. Well, friends, the success rate of our, that means Creative Edge top ranker class has been very high. There was one time we had around 20% of our students succeeding in the first round of NID. Well, friends, let us get on with some of the very important aspects that I'm going to cover with this NID revision series. I'm going to present you only the creative part. But before that, let's look into what am I going to give you today. Today's agenda is NID paper pattern, NID marking scheme, important topics for NID. Let's get on with that. NID exam 2024 paper pattern. Now there is a little sarcastic asking, are you ready? Well, I can understand. These are the last minute things. So it is better to go in for revision and whatever preparation you have done, you don't worry about the, catching up new in sketching or in drawing. Let's get on with it. First of all, let us understand what is an NID exam. NID exam is conducted in two phases. The first round, the written round, is GAT plus GAT. The GAT is 40%. Studio test, GAT plus GAT, the value is 40%, whereas the studio test value is 60%. Then it goes for the personal interview. I think one of aspect I should have talked right in the beginning, that suppose the first round is of 100 marks, to which we have given a value of 40%. Okay. However, in that GAT and CAT division, which I forget mentioning here, is 40-60 again. 40 is GAT, CAT is 60%. And whatever you get in this is further subjected to 40-60 ratio of the first round and the second round, that is the written round, the first round, and the studio test, that is 60%. What I mean to say, suppose in the written test, you have scored, let's say 70 marks. That includes what? 40% of GAT and 60% of CAT. And your overall score, for example, is 70 marks out of 100. Then it will be valued to 28 marks. Okay, being the 40% of 70 marks. And the later on studio test, you have to have 60% numbers to be scored, to be taken into NID or to be in the rank. Now we come to what is the studio test. Material handling ability of the candidate, clay handling, maybe POP handling, storytelling questions, then audiovisual questions, Like they give you a series of sound and you have to recognize the whole series sequentially. And then there may be a group discussion or group activity on which a panel of jury will be checking you. Now the question paper pattern. Let's get on with that. Stage one, that is the DET exam, prelims, and stage two, NID DET mains consist of studio test. The same thing, candidates who clear the cutoff in the NID prelims move to the mains exam. Here is an overview of the NID DET exam preparation pattern 2024. The paper has two sections, MCQs and drawing. That is, again, we are coming down to the written test. So it also has got language, English only, duration 180 minutes for BDES, and for PG student, remember it is 2.5 hours only. No negative marking, total marks 100, 60 for drawing, 40 for objective. For BDES prelims, divided into part 1 and 2, duration 3 hours, no negative marking, evaluates design aptitude, part 1 MCQ 40 marks, candidate mark on an OMR sheet, and drawing question 60 marks. There are 4 actually question in that. I'm talking of the drawings. So 4 question could come from, I have actually confined the total syllabus to these 9 headings. That is foundation, shape to form. That means a question of 3D composition. If you have prepared this, a 3D composition or an object drawing will be asked in different ways. So remember, whatever I have taken, these 9 topics are from last 5 years examination. Like the 4 questions, those are asked in the creative ability or drawing ability test, that you have at least 4 of these out of the 9 topics asked in the exam. Second is perspective, scene creation, wherein now actually it is scene creation. Why we say it as perspective? That's the most important part or the backbone of a scene creation. What other things are really valued into it are the proportions between height and width of a person, one person to another person, that is the proportion, and a human figure to an animal figure. All these proportions you have to remember. Okay, even a proportion of a human figure to the vehicle, that is what you have to remember. So in fact, these 2 topics can be combined and worked out into this small word, that is scene creation. Remember, human figure is one that you have to work out very diligently, very effectively. A scene creation may separately be worked out into storyboarding. What is a storyboarding? Try to understand. Storyboarding is nothing but a combination of different scenes. As a jury, I have always liked seeing a scene created from different angles. That will also come up in the later understanding of the syllabus. You know what? Storyboarding, one checks the language. Storyboarding, one checks the proportion again, like in the scene creation. And of course, one also checks how intellectually or how intelligently you can bring it on to a good moral of a story. So you have to write the story, the language is checked there. You have to find out important aspect that you have narrated in the story. That is where you have to bring about 4 or 5 sketches and how good the sketches are there, how neatly you have presented them. And thereafter, you are asked to, to give a moral of the story. If even not asked, you should be able to give a moral of the story. So story is a story, not an incidence. Okay. So remember, story has to have a moral, and incident do generally not have a moral. The next is the sequential drawing. You know what is sequential drawing? So I'll tell you. Sequential drawing, how to make noodles. Can you draw the process in 5, 6, 7 frames, or maybe 4 frames? Depends as to how complicated they ask, and they do mention how many frames you have to make of it. Likewise, maybe tea making, maybe a car wheel changing of the car wheel, or maybe making a puncture of the bicycle tube or tire. Then comes, particularly in case of PG, they got detail on the product design, even UG, product design, futuristic design, problem solving. In fact, this whole um, of the subject is such that we will be handling it in tomorrow's separate lesson. Then comes poster design and logo design. Now, poster design, logo design, you know how to present a poster, but then I will be talking some details of all these topics, except for few ones which will be handled tomorrow. Elements and principle of design, color theory and emotion. Now, this is where you have to revise. There is nothing like a question of element of design or principles of design, but the question is indirectly asked based on this subject. So that is why I have kept this separately. Now, this is a topic not in any syllabus, but that is how I find in last 5 years there have been questions in NID asked on this kind of understanding. They give a picture. So they say, look here. Then they indicate from where you are supposed to draw it. There are, say, 4 sides of an object: front, back, right, and left side. Now they create a scene to which you are looking from front side anyway. And they may ask you to draw the same scene as it would look from right side or left side, or maybe from somebody else who is sitting on the, across you, and from that person's point of view. So that's why I say, look here, that means at the picture, and see from there. So these are the 9 topics on which I think a good revision can be done by an NID aspirant. How to draw a scene. I'm giving you zest of understanding. 90% of scenes can be drawn with this graph. I purposely not labeled the lines, but I would like to describe them. Friends, forget about this figures right now. First of all, a little above the middle of the paper, the space, draw a horizon. Okay? Horizon is what? Where the sky appear to be meeting the ground in an open field. Inside a room, it will be the eye level. Anyway, it doesn't change outside. I mean, eye level and horizon is one and the same. Then you draw a line of a station, which is a vertical line indicating where the viewer is present. Then you already have got 4 sections of the space. Draw the deviating lines. This was the horizon. You've drawn enough of deviating lines. In all the 4 sections, this was the horizon. All the 4 sections, you can have the deviating lines. Now suppose the figure horizon is going through the eye of person if he is of the same height, he or she. So goes through the eye. You can see the horizon is going through this person's eye, through this person's eye. Okay? This guy here is of the same height as this guy near to us. What has happened? This guy is of the same height as this guy moving ahead of him. Now, are building a little away from this guy. So if we bring him here, it would be, his height would be here. Is this tall a building? How it has been drawn, as you know, everything brought up from vanishing point, the 0 point. So a proportionate figure in perspective can very well be drawn. In a scene creation, remember friend, if you are adopting this kind of a graph of deviating line, 90% of your drawings would be completed with this simple graph. You take any question, we will solve some of the questions here. But this is it for understanding how I take graph and draw the whole subject. Here I have not taken any subject. I just want to give you the sense of height. No doubt, the human figure is also 7.5 head. So I try to draw I divide the height into 8 equal parts and take one part as the head, and then the epigastrium, then the navel, and then the groin at equal distance. One head each. 1.5 head is the knee, 1.5 head is the ankle, half head is the plantar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, 7, 7.5. Okay, that is true even for this or this. So going ahead of this, let's look into what I have to show you. Coming back to the first topic, 3D object drawing, remember that? There may be a question saying that there is a cone, there is a uh, glass, and there is a wooden cylinder, and there is a glass piece. This is glass and this is glass. Okay. You may be given a choice, may not be given a choice, but you are supposed to draw it with all light, shade, and shadow. The science of light, shade, and shadow is known as physiography. Or they may just give a block here, block here, block here, and ask you to draw their shade and shadow. There are a few tips I have given here. The light source, an asterisk that is right under the light source, straight down. The asterisks give you where the light would get deviated on the same surface where the shadow is to be found. And with the deviating line from the light source, which work as the second vanishing point. The first vanishing point is the construction of the object. Second vanishing point is the light source. Third vanishing point is the asterisk. You draw a shadow. A little more about this one sketch. Always remember, bring the transparent thing ahead of the opaque things. Your composition should get on with the base. I mean, you should start the composition with the base of the object. So the arrangement in plan is understood in a perspective. Then according to their sizes, you draw the things, and the shading will make the difference into the feel of the material. Shadow will give you a proper physiography. That means again the way I explained the light source, asterisks, and of course the vanishing point of construction of the object. You can, this is done in 2-point perspective. Right, friends? So this is about object drawing and physiography. This comes as a 3-dimension drawing. They may give you a question saying that you are visiting, let's say, a garden where there is a beautiful sculpture made up of 6 um, cement blocks or 5 cement blocks. How would you see them if the light is coming, let's say, from right side or left side? Okay. In such scene creation wherein the 3D object is the main criteria, you try to make the 6 blocks or 5 blocks given in the question in such a way that there is a sense of their length, width, and depth. How can you create that? You can create it with help of a human figure by the side of the sculpture. Human figure, average height of an Indian male, 5 feet 9 inches, of an average Indian female 5 feet 3 inches, and accordingly you can make the sculpture. The examiner might not have asked you to make a human figure. Do make a human figure. That is your scale for showing the uh, the the length, width, and the depth of the object, and that make a better sense than just doing the sculpture or the installation and leaving no scale onto it. These are some tips for this kind of question. Let's move on to the next topic. Here is a question given to you. You are one of 3 tigers inside a cage in a zoo. Okay. Now, this was not given to you. This is a blank sheet before you. And some people are visiting you. That means the zoo. Draw the scene from your point of view. That means the tiger's point of view. So one of the 3 tigers, that means you have to have 2 tigers. Again, if you really ask me, the line of a station and the horizon. I have left some of the construction line while drawing this. These are those deviating lines which I was trying to explain you in the beginning of the scene creation. Remember, your eye level will not be on the higher side this time. You are down below. So it's almost onto the little lower side of the vertical portion of the paper. Okay? Then you are also creating a non-deviating surface. Here, because of the perspective, you could think yourself to be up here and then draw. Now, yourself means you as a human, not as a tiger. So here is the height comparison of a human figure. But since you're looking it from down below, you could bring them down to this size. Okay? This is how you would plan it out. Do plan very vaguely a little distance part of it also, how you would look into the, as you can see, this person is this tall, but because your vanishing point is down below, people going backward, that means on the rear side, the height look to be reducing or getting compressed. That's the beauty of perspective that you put up in relation to the vanishing point. I purposely erased my red lines so that you can have a very good look on the sketch. Of course, a little more shading, but do not indulge yourself in too much of shading in the final exam. That is not liked. Generally, line sketch with a little shading is more appreciated. We go ahead with the next type of question. Given here is a picture of old lady along with her grandson. Old lady along with her grandson. Climbing up stairs of an old temple which is situated on the top of a hill. Also seen, there is an old couple who is returning down from the temple. Draw the scene from the old man's point of view. Now, what has happened? It is the kind of the question I explained in my 9th point. That means look here and draw from there. Okay. In fact, this is a 3-point perspective, and the one from that old couple's point of view also, it will be 3-point perspective. In a preparation, how we generally prepare, like I prepare my students. I give them 1-point perspective, which I explained you in detail with those graph and deviating lines. Then in 2-point perspective, draw a house in 2-point perspective with human. This is not a question of NID. This is just how we prepare ourselves. In this picture also, there is a proportion of the human figure, the similar height lady, 2 steps above him. So 2 steps above him. Then the height of 1 floor, the height of 2 floor. If he's around 5 feet 9 inches, she is 5 feet 3 inches, you can well understand that the roof here would be somewhere around 9 to 10 feet. Here the roof would be 10 feet any which ways. And since one of the corner of this house is towards the line of a station, the 2 vanishing point would be on the either side. We draw a 1-point perspective only when the picture plane is parallel to the flat surface of the object. So if you were to look from here, it would be 1-point perspective and the building would be made like that, or from here, where the flat surface of the object would be parallel, flat surface of the house would be parallel to the picture plane. Okay, what is the picture plane? Picture plane is an imaginary transparent plane in front of eyes, right angle to the main line of vision. That is picture plane. And if that is parallel to the object flat surface, then the drawing would be made in 1-point perspective. Here, the flat surface of the object is making an angle to the picture plane because you're looking from here now, right? So this would lead into 2-point perspective. In 1-point and 2-point perspective, both the object and the picture plane are right angle to the ground. Okay, right angle to the ground. Only in case there is a different angle than the right angle formed either by the object or by the picture plane to the ground, then the picture would be 3-point perspective. For example, you're looking from somewhere top and like your picture plane is forming a 60-degree angle to the ground. This would be drawn into 3-point perspective. I'll have some of the samples maybe. Yeah, very interesting question. After consuming a magical substance, okay, here the magical substance is here, maybe a cake made by the scientists. So after consuming a magical substance, your height or the size drastically shrinks to mere just 2 or 3 inches. Now, situated in a chemistry lab, your partner, who maintains a regular human height, attempts to reach for something near you. The entire chemistry lab takes on a colossal appearance due to your significantly reduced stature. First on the table, you observe as other material in the lab room large and imposing. Please illustrate the scene from your diminishing point of view. I will be attending most of your questions after maybe this slide. So remain connected, friends. Now what you see, here it is a 3-point perspective. Why? Because you are lying here, you're lying here, your head is somewhere around here, you're looking upward. So in zenith, there is a vanishing point. Okay? Your partner scientist, a girl, she is approaching you, maybe to lift you or thing near to you. And she notices you that you have consumed that magical substance which was done. So these kind of questions are called as a little in hallucination, called as the question of magics, imaginary, or of fantasy, right? But they are not uncommon with NID. A fantasy question can give you a lot of challenges. So I'm sure you are acquainted with such questions, and if you can really put them with your ideas, likewise, your idea should have developed, not actually this, maybe zenith somewhere here. So everything going towards that would be good. Okay. So after this fantasy question, let us get on with the next one. Okay. That's just a practice session. So let me see some of your. Srishti Chogle asking, can we get this video later on this channel? It is there available on YouTube, this onward. So you will have a lot of good chance of understanding the syllabus, but do not spend too much time onto this. I will be having some good news for you in the end of this presentation. You can even join me for next crash course. You can even buy from me some of ready-made material. And of course, if your target is something like UCEED or NIFT, you can have a full length crash course, full length crash course. Okay. How to go about in perspective? Again, this is that, the beginning, I told you to go with the 1-point perspective. That is horizon, line of station. There's one more thing I have explained on this sheet. Friends, are you acquainted with golden focal points? In a composition, your hero or the subject of interest should come onto one of the golden focal points. There are 4 golden focal points. If you divide the vertical and horizontal spaces into 3 each, wherever the division intersect each other, it is a golden focal point. So it is always suggested that the main subject is placed on the golden focal point. That is the rule of a good composition. Okay, so follow that. I have done it for you in this practice session. Next type of question, like so far we were talking of scene creation, as well as I told you a question from look here and see there, see from there. Depict a storyboard with a modern gen, this thirsty crow and the water pot. We all know, I mean, actually, this is also one of our practice session. They give you some other topic, they at time give you words to be used in your story. In the practice session, I suggest my students that whatever childhood story you remember, you convert it as per your outlook. I mean, you change it to your, because you know what happens if you Google images of the story of thirsty crow, you will get tens of them on internet. Then you may try to copy them and then present. I mean, you get into the habit of presenting exactly the way they are available on internet. So what I said to my students, you better change the story and try to present the story your way, so that you come to a different presentation and you try to sketch accordingly. Always remember, whenever you are handling such questions, please remember that you have to have the narration not written here. No. Narration should, in a storyboarding, narration is separately written, not on the board. Okay? Yeah, are you getting it? Where do we write narration or those dialogue bubbles? That is in the comic strip. There even you make, I mean, you narrate a sound, wow, ouch, etc. Those are in the comic strip. But my observation says NID still don't ask you comic strip unless you are doing or entering into a PG animation. I mean, you're taking or selecting animation as your branch for PG entrance in NID. So here is the Thirsty Crow story. Here my smart Thirsty Crow is with sunglasses, with a chain and a locket, and he finds that peach, wherein he comes, look into it. Now the water is seen in the bottom. In the original story, what happens? Like, and look at the way it has been depicted. He removes the sunglasses, keep it here, and look into the peach, and then he turns his beak and come down. Here is his sunglass, and break the peach, break it open, drink the water, and fly off back with the sunglasses. And the narration, my thirsty crow is smart, okay, wearing sunglass and a gold chain, sights a peach and approach it. You see little water in the earthen pot, which was in the bottom. So he break open the pot, drink water, and then once full with water and refresh, the crow flies off. Good narration and good depiction. So that's another topic I would like you to practice a lot and present yourself. Next is draw a sequential illustration of how to cut nails in sequence. That is the question here. I told you the sequence could be changing tire, repairing the puncture of a bicycle tube or tire, and likewise making of noodles, making of a green salad, or maybe a uh, vegetable um, salad, or um, maybe then there is a tea making, coffee making, kind of a sequential drawing. What is important in such kind of question? What the examiner notice is your proportion of hand to the nail cutter. That means the proportion of the things that you are drawing, particularly with hand. In case of noodle making, you will have to have the proportion of your hand to the saucepan that you use, and of course, likewise. In between, there is a question, sir, इसमें coloring allowed है? Coloring, generally in NID, they expect you to draw black and white things, and particularly sequential drawing, there will be line sketch only. They write down only line sketch. There may be a question coming, can I use a sketch pen and all that? Try to avoid it. Better carry with you 2B and 6B pencil and draw it. I mean separately. So 2B, 6B, these are pretty dark pencils, and you can 4B also. Rutuja asking, sir, how examiner judge our perspective drawing? You retrace your perspective drawing to same way where we started. If you have used those lines, if you have used vanishing point, they try to judge it with the parallel lines that you have drawn. Okay. They also judge it from horizon and the eye level that you have taken. Horizon and eye level are the same. Okay. So all those things which I have been talking about are the ones that they judge your perspective from. Lastly, I've taken the same question and that appeared some 3 or 4 years back. Now, what I have done for you, the topic is look here, see from there. That is what was the question like. Like observe the image of the scene as that is given below. A person tries to enter the room by a ladder from the outside here. The window and sees the scene inside the room. Visualize and draw the scene from the person's point of view who has come on ladder to this place. To understand this question, what I have done, I have mentioned or labeled all the things lying here. What I imagined from, I have also drawn a kind of cone of vision. What all can come here? The dog, the curtain, dead man, shawl, slipper, poison, that is red poison, picture frame, kind of a thing. Please label it in the original picture in your test paper. And now try to understand back of the dead person, the dog. Dog could be made a little bigger here. Then the window is what I have imagined. It is not given, but the sofa was there, the red poison was there, picture frame was there, etc. There are certain vague questions to which answering would not be genuine from my side. The vague question is like, sir, what is the minimum marks an examiner gives to the legible sketch? I must reveal some secret about, if I were the examiner. I get 40, 50 answer sheets of drawing. I select the best one and decide marking only on the best one as the 100 percentile. Say the question is of 15 marks and I have given 12 marks to that best of the drawing. Then I also select the worst of them, not the absent one. I mean, if the candidate has not attempted the question, 0 is, of course, that is not the minimum. But somebody who has attempted it but has not drawn to my satisfaction and is comparatively very, very low pitched sketch. So these 2 marks, suppose I have given highest of 12, of course, understanding by myself where I'm deducting the 3 marks from 50, and the lowest, suppose it comes around 7. So rest of the copies become easy to check and be marked. That is how I generally would uh, mark the copies. So this was a little vague question in the sense, how do I know a particular examiner? But I given my example how I would mark it in case I get good number of sheets. There's another interesting question asked by one of my friends saying that what all should I carry in the examination hall? Either you look into top rankers recorded videos of last year of NID, or you wait for a couple of more days or maybe just 1 week, and I give you what all to carry in the examination. I think you can refer to my last year's such video wherein what all to carry and how to carry in the examination hall. I'll be giving you I must have given you the details in that. Next we go. No, it's just a message for tomorrow. But let me tell you, there are 2 more slides I want to show you. This is just a notice. Just join us tomorrow for product design and futuristic design live, as I told you right in the beginning. There are upcoming courses with Creative Edge Top Ranker. I'm sure by now you must have subscribed our channel. Okay, if you haven't done it, please do it because you will get very interesting information as you might have observed it, and I'm sure you are liking whatever I presented to you in today's this live session. Our upcoming courses are UCEED Crash Course 28 days starting from 18th December. Design NIFT, UCEED and CEED Bootcamp. Bootcamp 5 to 7 days from 8th of January. NIFT Crash Course starting from first week of January. This again may be of 28 days. JEE B 30 fast track batch, 30 days fast track batch, programming in January of 2024. The exam will be held in January last week or February 1st. Right, friends? So here I conclude with the fact that yes, you can divide your syllabus into 9 parts. Be careful about how you are going to score. Be very careful. Unless you have cleared the first round, you're not subjected to the second round of NID entrance test. That means the studio test. This is very, very important, although the weightage is 40%. But you are not subjected to the rest of the 60% marks unless you clear the first round. So be vigilant and a very happy preparation. I take your leave, not before answering your important questions. So let me answer some more questions. There is one gentleman saying that I focus on thumbnails and rough sketches. I call them as key sketches. An explanation of my own understanding before tearing it up. Where can I do it in the exam? There is enough of rough work space in the examination, or you can create it. Should I give you an idea how to create it? Suppose this was your answer sheet. You can always create your have the similar work done on this much. Here you can complete your key sketches. Write down the heading key sketches to what you call as rough sketches. And here you can give some notes. And here you can draw the figures or the scene. Got it? There is another interesting question. Can you please explain the temple 3-point drawing in detail with line depiction? Not in this, but if you join me for any of these courses, I will definitely explain to you. There is even ongoing crash course and master classes for NID preparation. You can join that also. You can contact us immediately and you will be benefited. So can we add textures and shades in 2D design? Firstly, NID generally gives you question on 3D design. So adding of texture on 3D design is yes suggested. A rough texture give you the feel of material, or any texture for that matter, give you a feel of material. Smooth texture also give you a feel of material. As I told you in the object drawing earlier, that there's a cuboid made up of glass, कांच का बना हुआ है, तो उसके लिए आपको स्मूथ टेक्सचर बनाना पड़ेगा. तो टेक्सचर बनाना जरूरी है only where it is required. Don't start making texture into scene creation. It will be difficult for you. It will not match with your timing. Secondly, NID do not ask you to draw all that. Secondly, if you draw such things in storyboarding or let's say in sequential drawing, no need of even shading them. Only a line sketch should be able to depict the material used there. Another question, very important, why not use a scale? Where do you think your examiner is judging you? Your design ability, all your intelligence about it, proportions, okay? And your drawing skill. This is not an engineering entrance test. Remember that. There was one time they would even catch hold of people who are carrying those compass boxes with them. Unless you have to do a 2D geometrical design, you don't require a compass box. So in all these cases, even in perspective, freehand drawing is very much welcome. Was there any one line that you found was not getting correct on this board? I was using it with my finger and the smart board straight lines are coming. So you should have enough of practice of them. They will never ask you a straight क्यों नहीं आया. But if you're making broken lines for your sketch, they don't like it. And so is the case with taking a scale. I understand at the end of graphic design course of Bachelor of Design, let's say of 4 years, you will be doing everything with help of your digital gadget. But are you using digital things in your mind? Argumentatively, one can say, I can use AI. Then where are you required? Where will you be employed? Now there are individual questions you can ask me directly. I have not practiced coloring and all that. Coloring with a little of plastic crayons or pencil is suggested. Some places you need to color, but generally speaking, in a scene creation, only black and white shading and sketching is required. Um, Another candidate asking how to approach a drawing question. I think right in the beginning, I gave you a graph system for a scene creation, so you can approach it. I also gave you utilizing the golden focal point in law of third. So those are the things you keep in your mind, keep on practicing with them, and do a lot of variety of questions to prepare for the final exam. Little time left. You can join us. You can follow us and find a lot of liking in the total course covered by us. And maybe um, who knows, you join me and you get a success. My success rate has been very good, as I told you right in the beginning. Okay, friends, I thank you very much for being with me and for your valuable time. Should I say my valuable time to you or your valuable time to me? Thank you for watching and have a very nice day. Bye bye.